Hello, good morning. It is so good to see you. Okay, I just want to double check. I have everything selected.
Hello, good morning. It is so
Ooh,
good to see you.
we need
Okay,
to mute
double
that.
check. I have everything.
One sec.
Hello, good morning. It is so good. We need to mute that. One sec.
Okay, awesome. That will sound better. Okay, let's see. Jackie, will you just give me a confirmation that everything is looking good? Uh, awesome. So Jackie is just the coolest. She has been feverishly working behind the scenes, making sure everybody gets to where they need to be. She's like the master hall monitor, directing traffic. So I'm so grateful for her. I know Lauren has been helping too, which I'm so glad for. And I am really looking forward to getting to spend another hour with you. Again, my word for this year is ruthless, and we are going to be ruthless today. I have a lot more energy, and so we're going to go all in. If you are tired, unmotivated, anything like that, I am going to lend you my energy today. I have plenty to go around, but that is again the magic of body doubling. Like you literally just have to show up. Your intention could be just to watch this morning, and I'm going to do my best to get you moving today. Get some stuff moved out of your house, get some of the clutter cleared up, get your house put back together after the holidays. It feels so good. So we're going to talk about the 80% rule today. I'm really excited to share that with you. We're going to be ruthless. I'm going to just go, I've like intentionally let some of this stuff just build up in our room to represent all the random crap that lands on our bedroom floors. It's so frustrating. The good news is now that we've highly simplified our home, like this really isn't an issue anymore. This does not stress me out. We're going to get through it pretty quickly. We're going to use the 80% rule to guide us. But just a couple of quick announcements. There are like lots of scammers out there right now impersonating me, which is so frustrating. And so if you get any kind of message on any social media where I ask you to inbox you, I send a WhatsApp link, or I don't know, Jackie, what are the other apps that they sometimes use? I can't remember them. I don't send out those types of messages. All of my communication to you goes through email generally. I do like to reply comment to things, but I will never ask you to message me, send me money. Like, I mean, that would be fun, right? I won't ask you to go on to any other app from whatever separate from what you're on. So just know, and if you see that from other influencers too, it's probably a scam. So just so you know that I do love communicating with you, but it's just not through weird, weirdo ways like that. Also, you might see an email come from Kajabi. It'll say, oh, Jackie, I should know it. It'll say something minimal mom and then have a Kajabi email address. Kajabi is the platform we use to host everything now. It's super cool. We love it. And you might get an email from it. So don't mark it as spam because then you're not going to get any notifications from us. If you ever are in doubt, have any questions, just email support@theminimalmom.com and Jackie or Lauren will help you out with that. So I know it's hard sometimes just to know what's legit, what's not. So I get it. So I do not fault anyone for all of that. So just so you know. Okay, so am I forgetting any other announcements? The replays for our full 4-day reset are available until Saturday at 9:00 p.m. for free. So you have the links; they're in your emails. You can go back and watch them at any time up until Saturday at 9:00 p.m. Beyond that, if you want to watch them, they will be living in our Minimal Mom Mentorship Group and also in the Take Your House Back course. So if you join one of those or already are in one of those, then you can watch the replays whenever you want. But that is the only way to see it past Saturday at 9:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then also Saturday morning, we're going to do at 9:00, we're going to do like a mega kitchen purge. I have a very specific list of 25 things we're going to go through together. And again, that'll be available in our mentorship group and Take Your House Back. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to sell you on lots of stuff. I hope that you can join us for free and get tons of value out of it. But if you do want more support, if you find this type of interaction helpful, this is what we do in the Take Your House Back course and in my mentorship group. And so just know that there are more resources available. And if not, take all the free stuff you can get, man. I'm happy to offer it. And no matter how you get there, I just want us all to have decluttered homes by the end of 2024. So it's like a buffet. Take what you need, leave the rest. And I'm not ever offended by that. And I don't want you to buy anything that you don't need. Okay. So whether you are working in the master bedroom with us or you're selected another area of your house, I do hope that you have a donation box and a black trash bag with you. Again, I think it's worth investing in a box of black trash bags if you haven't done so already. So I want to get moving into just a couple things here, get us all going, and then I'm going to talk about the 80% rule. So just as I'm looking around, again, if we're like not feeling all that motivated, just look for something easy. Look for some garbage on the floor. Even I saw this bag and I'm like, what is in this bag? Right. I still have sometimes these like fear responses of like, what did I put in there? And just set on the floor in here. Right. And then I noticed it's actually just like garbage from when I was wrapping gifts in here. So it's nothing hard. And I was like panicking, like, oh, great. What's in there? Right. A lot of this stuff isn't actually hard. So I'm literally just going to put this into my black trash bag. And that actually wasn't that hard. Also, I will leave plenty of time for questions at the end. I'm giving priority to our mentorship group who's here, but also I can see the YouTube ones today too. So I will take your questions from YouTube as well. So hang on to your questions. I'm going to try and keep the blinders on and not look at those right now. Now, this pile of stuff, I'm actually kind of proud of this because I did ask our girls to go into their bedroom before Christmas and just make a pass through any clothes that they don't want anymore, trusting that there was probably some new clothes coming in for Christmas. And I'm so proud because they came downstairs with this whole pile of stuff. I said, throw it on my floor. I have a donation box in there. It just, so it didn't make it into the donation box. That's fine. I'm like, this is totally good for me. So this, I am just going to put into the donation box. And I've mentioned this before. This is a little tricky for me sometimes because I'm seeing like even just this shirt got wore one time. They went to an event that was neon colored. Everyone was supposed to wear neon. Well, fortunately, we went to Goodwill and we just found some neon colors because they didn't have something to wear. But I want to say, I think we still paid like $6 for this. Don't even get me started on the prices at Goodwill, right? I think we still paid like $6 to wear it one time. Like in my mind, that is so wasteful. But we all know that keeping this, me saying, no, go put this back in your closet, you have to wear it again to justify that price. They're not going to wear it, right? If we did the same thing in our closet, we're not going to wear it. Just because I spent money on it, I'm not going to wear it. There's obviously something about it that they don't like, right? And so on one hand, I'm very proud of them. I don't want them to keep things just because we spent money or because they feel bad. I want them to move this type of stuff out. I want them to keep their closets pared down to just the stuff they're always wearing. But just so you know, there is still a part of me of like, I spent $6 on it and I only wore it once, okay? But I moved through it pretty quickly now. My goal, like I've said, is peace over possessions this year. Like I just need our house to be really streamlined so that it functions well and it's a safe place to come home to. So I'm letting it go. And what do we also know? As soon as it leaves the house and gets to the donation center again, I'm going to have long forgotten about it. So it moves out. We move on with life. It stinks right now. It's okay to even feel that and be like, maybe next time I won't be so quick to buy them something for one time, but it's fine. All right. So that's going into the donation box. You have permission today to throw stuff in your donation box. I'm going to show you some other mistakes that I've made. Like, it happens, but keeping it does not right the wrong. Keeping it just clutters up our house. Okay, so the other thing we have here are some returns. I bought a new pair of black leggings like that. I need another pair. So I've been looking for another great pair because I really liked the ones I've had. And I bought them without trying them on. And now I have to return them. And I'm kind of frustrated with myself. But we were just, we were Christmas shopping. I didn't want to take a lot of time. So I have to do that. And then this is also a bag of Amazon returns. So I'm trying to group all of my returns together. Right here, you can't really see it. So these are all returns right here. I'm grouping together and I really want to schedule a time this week to take those back. Oh, look, a dirty sock. Okay. Because I don't know about you, but returns really hang over my head. I think it's because in the past, I have not gotten things returned in time. I've forgotten about them. They get piled and stuff. And so I think I carry a lot of like guilt and shame around not handling returns well, wasting money, and just all the emotions that come with that. So I really want to this week, I like told Tom, I'm like, let's just plan a day. And I like, if possible, for us to go together so he can just drop me off at the front door of the store. I can run in, make the return quick and come out, and just plan that that's what we're going to do for a couple hours. It's not my preferred way to spend that time. But it just is what it is right now. And so I really want to make that a priority because that feels yucky when we come across those a month or two later and we're outside of the return window. Okay, like I just want to I sometimes do like to just glance to make sure everything's working okay. Awesome. Oh, good. Thanks, Jackie. Yes. Also, a reminder to check your spam folder. If you don't see emails from us, I'm guessing if you're here right now that you're seeing it. But if at any point, you can always check your spam folder too. How do you join the mentorship group? Well, friend, I'm seeing your comment on Facebook, so I'm guessing you're already in it. It's just our Facebook group, membership group. But otherwise, if you're watching on YouTube, there is a link in the description. If you just want to see the full details, no commitment, you can join for a month and then quit. So just so you know, like we don't keep anyone in anything they don't want to be in. So, okay. Now here is the box that I talked about yesterday, right? I am going to use it. This is a shirt. So we haven't celebrated Christmas with Tom's family yet. So even that is like, I want to be done with all this Christmas stuff. And I'm like, oh, we have one more celebration to do. And so I still have some stuff. So this is one gift for it. And then this was a shirt we got for Tom's dad that we're going to give him for Christmas. I don't think he's watching, so I think it's safe to say that. I'm going to use this box, and I have some tissue paper here. I'm going to put this other gift with it, even though they don't go together. And the gift receipt, right? Keep that all together so I can wrap that. These types of things, when I come across, normally if it would only take a couple minutes or less to like wrap this and be done with it, I would do it right now. So if there's any little things you're coming across that you're like, I could just do that quick, I would recommend doing that. I'm not going to use your time today for me to wrap a gift in front of you, but just know I do like to like fully take care of something like that if it's at all possible. Okay, so let's talk about the 80% rule for a second. So here's what I mean by the 80% rule. Often when we look at something like this and it is a random mishmash of stuff, we feel like all the decisions are going to be hard, that it's just all things I have to deal with and they're just decisions I have to make. But the truth is that I would guess, I'm guesstimating 80% of it is actually pretty easy decisions. And that's what I want to show you as we go through today. It's garbage, right? Like I already showed you. It's just some donations that ended up on the floor. It's returns that just need to get grouped together and then I need to make a game plan for it. Do you see that so far? I've not had to make any judgment calls, any hard decisions. I mean, yes, this hung me up for a second, right? But I'm good. And so what we have to remind ourselves when we look at a space that's really intimidating, I know some of us have like catch-all rooms and storage spaces, guest rooms that were supposed to be guest rooms, but that are now a catch-all room. And we're like, it is all hard. It's all going to be hard decisions. But the truth is, when we actually get into it, I would say 80% of it is not going to be hard decisions at all. It's a gift I need to wrap. It's returns I need to make. It's obvious garbage, obvious donations. And here's the other thing. There are going to be things that would have hung you up in the past, but because we've been spending time together and you're looking at stuff differently now, it's not going to. And so that's why I think it's 80%. In the past, it might have been like 60%, 50-50, hard decisions and not. But I think you are looking at your stuff differently. Because you've been having mindset shifts as we've been working together. And so maybe you haven't gotten as far decluttering as you want, but the hard work is up here, right? The hard work is up here. I'm going to show you something here. Let me just show you what I mean. Like what would have hung me up in the past? Oh my, I saw a meme the other day that said something about you feel your age when you've been wrapping gifts on the floor and then you go to stand up. I'm like, why do my ankles hurt? I don't know, because I was crouching weird on the floor. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So over here, oh, crouching is just, I don't think it's good for your body anymore, right? I'm going to sit. Okay. Um, Here's a couple things that I got from the dollar store, mind you, right? Okay. So I just thought these plates were so cute. And I'm like, that would be so cute to put Christmas goodies on it and bring it to neighbors. I'd had this like grandiose idea of making sourdough bread. And I'm like, maybe we could put some like sourdough. I don't even know. It wouldn't even fit on here. Anyways, these probably were kind of an impulse buy at the dollar store because they were cute. I thought we would do something with them. Whatever. It's December 27th. I did not bring Christmas goodies to our neighbors. And if I'm really honest with myself, I'm probably not going to use these next year either. And so I am just going to put these in the donation box so that I don't have to manage them anymore. And a question I've been thinking a lot about lately with things like this is, do I have a dedicated spot for that? So if I knew for sure I have a dedicated spot where I'm going to put containers, like my mom actually does do a good job throughout the year saving like plastic containers and clamshell containers that then she reuses to give out Christmas goodies. So like she has a system for that. She knows where she keeps them. She washes them out. She dries them, stores them. Like she has a dedicated spot for that. I do not. And I just don't imagine, like, if I use this Christmas as data, that I'm going to do this next year either, right? So I don't want to continue to manage these and store them and try and create a dedicated spot for them. I just want to put them in the donation box and be done with it. It was an impulse buy. I shouldn't have made it. Like, I see it more as a mistake. And me keeping it, trying to correct that wrong, thinking like, oh, it's okay, I'll use them next year. No, that is the type of stuff that has totally cluttered up my house in the past. And I don't want to use my precious time and energy to manage $2.50 worth of plates plus tax, right? But again, I'm not trying to push my mindsets on you. I'm not saying you have to, but just ask yourself, do I have a dedicated spot for that? So as we're coming across random things here, do I have a dedicated spot for that? Do I know exactly where I would look for that next year when I need it? And you might decide you want to create one or that you have one, or again, it is so much easier just to put it in the donation box. But you decide where you are at for yourself. I just want to give you permission today to prioritize your peace in your house over possessions. Okay, so another probably kind of mistake-ish thing I did was I bought too much candy for our gingerbread houses. And so we have had candy left over now. There's about like 4 packages of candy in here. And so again, my initial reaction is to try and figure out some way to use it or preserve it until next year. And so I'm like, candy probably that we're just using to decorate gingerbread houses, I could probably save that and use it next year. And then again, I'm like, okay, do I have a dedicated spot for that? Like, do I have a spot where I know for sure where I will find the candy for gingerbread houses? This kind of goes along with Dana from A Slob Comes Clean, her question of like, where would I look for that first? And so, do I have a dedicated spot for that? No, I don't. And I had the thought, because I'm gonna show you some other like random leftover Christmas stuff. I'm like, maybe I need to make another Christmas bin for just some of this like extra Christmas stuff. And then that's where I will know to look next year. So I'm like, okay, I can absolutely do that. And then I also have the thought like, crap, we get mice in our house every year, like field mice. Like we live on a farm, right? And so every year, I used to think it was because I was a crappy housekeeper. No, it just turns out whether your house is clean or not, like mice move in the wintertime, right? And so every year, we without doubt we'll be sitting on the couch in the living room and we hear it. Like you just know now. Like if you have had mice in your house, you just know the sound, right? And so, anyways, Tom does his thing. We take care of them. We'll live trap them and let them free in nature a mile down the road, anyways. So, but I probably should not be putting candy in our basement, right? That probably is not a wise decision. So, what I am going to do with this is I'm going to throw it into the garbage. And again, many of us were raised that you do not waste anything. I grew up on a farm in central Minnesota. We did not have a ton. And you don't waste anything. Why would you throw candy away? And so this has been a mega mindset shift. And I know if you're new with us, like I don't want you to unfriend me or just like stop now or log out because you're like, what is this girl doing? She's just carelessly throwing stuff away. There's too much stuff in the world. We have overconsumed for so long that me trying to figure out a way to donate it to the food shelf or some other way, I could. But I know my capacity right now for making extra trips to food shelves or different places that might use it. I don't think they're hard up for candy right now. I don't think that's the kind of things that people need. If I had good food in my kitchen, I would bring them good food. I wouldn't just throw that away. But candy from the dollar store, I'm not going to find a dedicated spot for it, and I'm just going to throw it away. So you have permission today. If that's what you need to do to get back on top of your house, it is okay. Sometimes we have to do less than ideal things to get back on top. And from there, I'm going to make much better decisions. And maybe I would store it next year or something like that. But for here, right now, today, I don't have the capacity to do anything more with it than that. So, I'm going to step down off my soapbox now. And honestly, in the past, that might have been a hard decision. I would have put that in the 20% of hard decisions. Right now, it's not, because I know how good it is to live in a highly simplified house. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Now you're probably like, you don't need more caffeine, friend. Um, and we'll work through some more stuff, and I'll continue to show you. I don't think a lot of this is hard decisions in here. By the way, I've heard from multiple people. They're like, "Oh, these glass coffee mugs are just so cool." My sister, I mean, for months is just like, "You have to get these. Like, they're so nice." And I kind of resist to fads or things like that. Too many influencers have sold me too many things that I'm like, no, it wasn't as great as you thought. I'm thoroughly enjoying these glass coffee mugs. So I can put a link for it too. I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know. I think it's lovely. So most of us don't need more coffee mugs, but in case you're in the market. So, okay. Yeah, good. Like, I see the comments too, like, I also used to eat the candy, so I didn't waste it. That's the other thing. If I thought it was good for anyone in my surroundings, I would just be like, "Here, eat it, whatever." We have had plenty of sugar. So, the joke in our house is we don't have dental insurance beginning next year. Like, we're totally out of pocket for all of it. And so that's what we've been telling the kids. We're like, "Sorry, no more candy." Like, legit. And like, we joke about it, but honestly, like, obviously we want to be healthier and all that. I think many of us are heading into the new year with that too. So it is where sometimes we do just have to throw it away. But if that's totally against everything you believe in, then I hope you can just skip over this part, and do what makes it so you can still sleep at night. But for some of us, like, we're so overwhelmed by our homes right now, we have to just throw it away. So it's not my preferred. Okay, Cindy. I was actually wondering if Cindy, Cindy is the technical writer behind the scenes. She helped write our "Declutter Your Home in 15 Minutes a Day" workbook, and so I actually sent her some of the mugs too. So I had to circle back, Cindy. I meant to ask you if you liked them too. There are some brilliant women behind me. Let me tell you, I don't do all of this on my own, so I'm so grateful for it. Awesome. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving through some more of this stuff. So, well, there's a little more candy in here. I'm going to throw this away too. Okay. Again, this is where the black trash bag comes in very handy. I don't think about it again once it goes in, and other people in my household don't question it too. Okay. So here's something. It's so funny how differently I think about things now. So Adeline, our oldest, she's 14. She cross stitched a Christmas thing for my parents, my mom, for Christmas. And I love cross stitching. I haven't done it in years because I don't have the time. I know that, but it was really cool. Well, what happened was, uh, so Adeline's very self-taught when it comes to cross stitch. I have not taken a lot of time to tell her things. Like, normally what we would do when we would cross stitch something, especially if we were bringing it to the county fair, is you did it in a very standard size, and then you could get a mat for it, right? And then you frame it. So you have the frame and the mat and then the cross stitch, and it's beautiful. Well, she cut the Ada cloth too close to it. And so it was like this weird, tall, narrow size, but she had cut the cloth so then we couldn't mat it to like fit. And so anyway, so we went to Michael's, and we found these frames, and so it worked out great. She just trimmed it and frayed the edges and then put it in here. Wouldn't you know that these silly frames, it was buy one get one free. And I'm looking at this frame and I'm like, it's cute, but it's kind of like that floating style or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't even know. I thought about gifting it to my mom then. I'm like, hey, here's another frame. I don't know. But I'm like, really, in all kindness, if I was going to, I should like put a picture in it and then give it to her. But she doesn't need any more of that either. And I'm like, and I'm trying to think, like, is there someone else we could gift it to, whatever. And so what I've been thinking a lot about is there is a new thrift store in our area. If you're in the Twin Cities area, it's in Faribault, and we're hoping to do like a drive there to collect more stuff for them. But they, all of the proceeds get donated right in the area. And so I'm like, I could try and hang on to this or think of a way to regift it or someone else. And I'm like, I'm just going to donate it to them. And I really hope that they can, I mean, it's a nice frame that they can sell it and make money off of it. And that actually makes me feel better. So I'm not, this box is probably going to go to like Goodwill because there's not a lot of high quality things. But I'm also having a separate donation box for like nice things that I'm going to take down to them. And I'm like, you know what? I hope that is really helpful to them. I hope they can make money off of it. And again, then I don't have to store it and manage it. I want to manage as little inventory in our house as possible right now. And again, this is a big mindset shift for me because, growing up very modestly, like it was always like, you figure out a way to use everything, right? God, it wasn't like, it was not a cheap frame either. Like it annoys me so much. Um, but I don't have the capacity to manage this kind of stuff. And this is something that I would have put in some box in our basement, thinking like, okay, I'll regift it or I'll use it for something else, or next time we need a frame, I'll get it. I would have forgotten about it. And then I would have just gone and bought another one. And so if I can donate it to a really great place, know that like it'll be useful to them and help them, I would rather do that now than let it waste away in my basement. And worse yet, let something else happen to it. The other thing that happens in our bedroom here is that stuff that's meant to go down to the basement, because again, our bedroom's wonky. We have an outside door. We have the basement door in here. But stuff that's supposed to go to the basement ends up in here. So again, this isn't a hard decision. This is literally something that's just meant to be downstairs. Let's see. I'm just looking if there's anything else that was destined for the basement that ended up here. So I'm just going to put this by the door right now, so it ends up going down there today. I'm actually pretty good now. If we weren't live right now, I would actually walk it down there and put it down there because I don't like having stuff piled up there. Okay, so let's see. This is actually my box of stuff to go to Tom's family's Christmas. So I'm going to add this to it. Try and keep it kind of contained. And then probably just slide it back over here for right now. Okay, I just have a little more randomness here. Oh, this was actually supposed to go to the basement too. I just had some extra foil pans and some dishcloths. Again, this question like that really goes through my head a lot is, do you have a dedicated spot for that? So I do, for extra kitchen stuff like foil pans like this. And then these are some, I don't even know. It was like a placemat runner thing and towels. And I like to use these when I take pictures of bundt cakes for our bundt cake book. And I have a bin for stuff just like this that I use for like staging photos or whatever. So again, when I ask myself, do I have dedicated spots for this? Yes. If not, like Diana gave these to me, if I didn't actually need them for what I want, I would be putting it into the donation. Like I just don't, I can't. Like, so, but this stuff does have spots, so that can go down to the basement as well. Oh yeah, see. And then I saw these really cute dish mats at the Dollar Tree, and I'm like, that's so cute. Maybe I'll give it as a gift, or I'll put it, with something. And I didn't. And so again, do I want to keep this until next year and then maybe give it then? I don't. I'm just going to throw it in the donation box and never think about it ever again. All right. And this is actually an empty box. So I'm going to use this to put like my high quality donations in that I want to go to that one thrift store. So that works out well. And then this stuff. So I just have, it's just extra Christmas stuff. Like, again, we're talking about sugar. These are so good. They're from Costco, and I got 3 of them, and I gave 2 away with gift cards to like the kids' piano teacher. Oh, I know. I was going to give this to the mail lady. But do they want more sugar right now? I have a gift card for her too. I just didn't put it out because we have, you sometimes have alternate mail people during the holidays. Okay. I think I'll still do that for her. So I'm going to use this. And then Adeline was going to give her friends like some of these drinks over Christmas, and then she didn't. It just didn't end up working out. And so now I'm just like, what? Like, and again, sugar, like, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is the kind of thing where I'm just like, what do I want to do with it? If I ask myself, do I have a designated spot? This kind of stuff would be kept in our extra bedroom where I just do keep some like overflow grocery stuff. But it's just so hard because I don't know. We just don't need the sugar, and I don't want the kids asking and begging for it if it's in there and they see it. So, does anybody want this? I wish I was like, I'm gonna think about that for a second. Let's see. This was like a body scrub Diana gave me for Christmas. If you saw me open my Christmas gift from her on her store, and again, I'm just kind of like, I don't think I'll use it. I used the bath bomb she gave me this, but it's not opened at all. So I'm gonna put it in our donation box for our friends down there. And then an open package of candy. I think the kids got into this. It's fine. And then, oh no, I don't know what this is. To Gauge from Corbin. He wrapped this a long time ago, but I think he totally forgot about it. I think it was something that it was just a toy of his that he rewrapped. Oh, his watch. What else is that? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll just tape that back up and I'll let Corbin decide if he wants to still give it to him. And then the other thing I have in here, I had gotten this tea, which I really like. It's very similar to the Good Earth Sweet and Spicy, but just comes in a prettier tin that I was going to give as gifts to like some of our friends. And I didn't. And so now, again, I'm left with extra tea. And I don't think I want to keep this till next Christmas and give people like old tea. So I think I just need to use it up. This is why I don't like having extras of things, because it's just like our kitchen's very small. I don't want to clutter up our kitchen with it. Where do I put it? So I'm so annoyed by this. I really wish I hadn't bought this. Okay, well, here's our extra stuff. I could give it to some of Tom's family too. I don't know if they drink tea. I can think of one person that probably would. I think I'm going to put it back in this basket for right now. Again, can you tell I'm getting like really kind of stressed out by this? We're just focusing on the 80% right now, the easy decisions. And so if you're getting caught up and hung up on something that feels hard right now, let's just set it aside. I think once I get the rest of this stuff dealt with and cleaned up and out of here, to have this one bin of stuff that still is kind of feeling a little bit more difficult, I don't think it's going to feel that overwhelming to me. So I'm going to just set this aside for right now. It's totally fine. It's contained. If at all possible, if we can put it into some kind of container, I do think that helps our brain. And so I'm going to set this aside for now, and it's totally fine. Okay. And then we just have a couple more things here. I'm like losing track of time. What time is it? Okay, 9. Okay, we're doing good. All right, we're making good progress. So we'll slide that back. And then we also had some extra hot chocolate, which this I think will bring up when we celebrate with Tom's family. So I'm going to put that in that box. So this was my sample like inventor's box. So I love the idea of making inventor's boxes for kids for a Christmas gift. And so I'm actually like, I could save it from year to year, but I know we're going to get into January and there will be a day when our kids say, I'm bored. And then I want to let them play with some of the stuff in here. So I've been saving like toilet paper rolls, tin foil, the end of the tin foil. This is all really great stuff to put in an inventor's box, and it's free. And then masking tape. And then I also had like some craft sticks and pipe cleaners, whatever they're called. And so this I want to keep together, but again, it can just go in our basement. I will know that it's there to go look for it. And so I'm going to put this with our basement stuff. All right. And then lastly, I have, this was a clear acrylic container that Diana gave me my Christmas gift in, which I actually really appreciate. So I do, again, I with something like this, I would think, well, is there immediately a space I can think of that I could use some nice organization? And I don't necessarily right off the top of my head, but I do have a spot in our basement where I just keep a few extra like organizing containers. I try not to keep too many because that just gets overwhelming and I don't use them. But like this is a nice one. It's pretty versatile. So I'm going to put this down there. So I do have a designated spot for that. And then this, again, this is hanging me up, which is it's kind of frustrating me. I showed like the homemade seasonings that you could make with stuff from the dollar store. And I've actually been using it because we're out of chili seasoning at home. And so, well, I was thinking this would be hard. I should just put it in the kitchen and use it up. So I just kind of wanted to reuse the tags for next year. But again, I don't really have a spot for that. So I'd probably just print them again. Would be the easiest. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me talk that out. That wasn't as hard. I was thinking that was going to be a hard thing of me trying to figure out what to do with these. So these I'm going to go put in the kitchen real quick. This I'm going to put with the basement stuff. And things are looking a lot better here. Do you hear the singing? There's always singing in our house. They're playing Legos at the coffee table and singing. We did last night. We used the bins under the coffee table that we set up yesterday, and it worked great. I am thinking too, they would actually fit under the couch. I noticed under our blue couch, and so I don't love them under the coffee table, but I was looking and I'm like, oh, I think worst case scenario they would fit under there as well. So I really like that idea of having a way to contain the new gifts, but still and have them accessible, but not like out all the time. But now they pull them out again and they're playing. Also, that game Play 9, we played it last night. It was so fun. It's like a golf game, so you want to get the lowest score. If you've ever played golf with just with a deck of playing cards, it's like 4 cards. It's kind of similar to that. I loved that game growing up. So, anyways, Play 9, that was really fun. It's up to 6 players, and like our kids are 9 through 14. It was great for them. You could go a little bit younger with it too. So if you're looking for a good family game. Okay, let's Take It There Now. It works so well for me. So I really like the Take It There Now. So again, as we're coming across things that don't belong in this room, you're like, this isn't a hard decision. It literally just needs to get put away. If you have the energy today to do that, I would do it. Just get up, go put it away. I've really gotten into that habit now. And the reason it works so well is that it feels good to have that task fully complete. Like now I have a pile of stuff to go down to the basement. And now I'm like, ugh, like it's not done. Like I still have to go and do that now. And I will. I'm pretty good about following through with these things now. In the past, I was not, and it would just stay piled up there for like weeks. So we have to know ourselves. Some of us can pile and fully deal with it at the end, and others are like, nope, like I can't trust myself with that. So if we're willing just to take it there now, it can be a game changer for you when you're working on this kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about clothes yet. Let's talk about that. So I'm trying to go minimal in my closet, but how much do I really need? I'm a teacher, so need work attire. I know I need layers, and California weather varies from week to week. So there are really only 2 seasons here that can toggle. I need mindset shift assistance and some guidelines. Great question. So I would try out Project 333 from Courtney Carver. So that's where you have 33 items. And if you have not tried anything like that, I think your mind will be blown at how little clothing we actually need, even if you're working professionally. And so we'll talk about that more in our mentorship group coming up because we're doing a deep dive in January, like picking one area to just really go all the way in. And I know many people are choosing their clothing. So we're going to talk in more detail about that. But just to get started, I would look up Courtney Carver's Project 333. Just look at the rough guidelines for it and begin to use that as your framework and just test it out and just see. Yeah. Are we going to go deeper into master bedroom clearing later? Yes, we will in January, but also because I know you're saying my mess is more than just surface holiday clutter. I totally understand that. And also, a lot of these principles still apply. Like, do I have a designated spot for this thing? And really working to hardly not keep any of it, right? A lot of this stuff, I haven't talked about like time testing today, but a lot of this stuff, if it's been piled up and in containers or just on a pile on the floor, it's been time tested. It's telling us you didn't need me. Like, you haven't need me in months, a year even. And so it's been time tested. And so like when I look at that, my goal is to not keep any of it. Now, if there's some important documents or papers, then yeah, we want to pull those out and set them aside. But again, we don't have to deal with that stuff today. So if you will just focus on the easier stuff, the obvious garbage, the obvious donations, the obvious things that just got put in here that don't belong in here, I think you're actually going to be left with a very small amount of hard stuff that you really have to figure out what to do with. Yeah, to the tea. Like, can't you just give it to your friends the next few weeks? I know. I just am guessing. I'm second guessing myself if they actually drink tea. So I know. Sometimes I put too much thought into things. I have an abundance of nice wrapping paper from Hobby Lobby, much of which has never been opened. Now that it's after Christmas, any ideas on what to do with it? Um, I mean, I don't know. I would share that kind of stuff with friends. And you could just ask like your friends, because like right now is actually a time um with when people have good data, like, do you need extra wrapping paper for next year? And many people will save it from year to year. So it might be worth just asking some of your friends and family, like, "Hey, I have some extra nice, really nice wrapping paper. Would you want any of it?" I do see a question. Could you have cats to deal with mice? Yeah, we actually have, like, we have outdoor cats, and you will see them with mice all the time. And so for whatever reason, they still get in. We have a no pets in the house policy right now. But it's so funny because Tom and I talk about all the time, like once the kids move out, like what we would have for pets in the house. So right now, we just think there's enough warm bodies in the house, but in the past, Tom was like, "No pets in the house ever," and now he's kind of like, "Well, it'd be kind of nice, right?" So, uh, I accidentally watched Harry Potter wands from Universal Studios. Not sure when we'll be back. Do I save for one day when we go back to find out they don't work, or toss now? I would let it go now. Yep, I would cross that bridge when you go back again. It's too hard to try and keep stuff for other times and all. It's so hard. What if I get stuck wanting to find the perfect recipient for good stuff? I know, Janet, I know. And that's very much been like me in the past because it just really felt like the only way that like I could make this right would be to make sure it's going to just the right place. And so I do think it's helpful. Like, I'm excited to bring stuff to this new thrift store that I know where it's all going and that it's helping really good cost. I know the gals that are starting it and their heart behind it. So I do think, and there's another thrift store in our area too, I've talked about that. I really like them too. They're a little bit harder because they're pickier with what they take. And so sometimes that causes me then not to get it there. So if you can find shelters, thrift stores, adult day centers, like day centers for adults where people go that maybe have mild handicaps or things, it is such a great place to donate craft supplies to and other things like that. So if you have the capacity right now to divide stuff out, make phone calls or do Google searches to find out where it needs to go, and you're like, yeah, like I can do that because I will feel better about, I will go further with getting rid of stuff. I will feel better about it if I do that and I know where it's going, then I really encourage you to do that. Like, please do that. I think that's very wise. If you know that is going to cause for donations just to sit around, to not get out of your house, and you literally just need to box it up and bring it to Goodwill and drop it off today, then can I just give you permission to do that? Because ultimately, like, it's just physical stuff. It's like we want to be good stewards of it. We want to like make wise decisions with it, but it's really just physical stuff. And if it's getting in the way of your peace of mind, your family's peace of mind, your ability to manage your house, how you feel about your house, like I actually really enjoy maintaining our house now and cooking and cleaning now that it's highly simplified. I could never say that in the past, and it was very stressful. So again, we're prioritizing peace over possessions. Your mental health and peace that you feel in your home is more important than the stuff, and making sure it goes to just the right place, in my humble opinion. So I think it just is taking an assessment of where you're at right now and how much time you have to get it to where you want it to go. thoughts on Christmas stuff that isn't super special, but we could use it next year, could find a spot to store it, but we're probably going to move before next Christmas. Donate it, let it go. That's not worth, if it's not super special, like, I don't think it's worth moving even. And when we think about how many times you have to handle stuff that you move, you have to pack it up and then move the boxes, and then you have to unload the boxes, and then you have to unpack it. And you don't know for sure you would use it in your new house. I wouldn't. I mean, whether you're, even if you're not moving, I would probably just let it go right now, because having less is like, it's just so much better. Like, it's just so much easier in every area. All right. Didn't I click on that? Okay. My nightstand drawer became a graveyard for old electronics. Some are not charged. How do I make sure they're cleared off, and what do I do with them? Ugh, that's a whole can of worms. I am not super skilled in that area. And so I don't always know the best ways to deal with all of this. But here's the only good thing. For most electronics, there's only like a couple different chargers, so it probably wouldn't be hard to find a charger that works for it um, to charge them up and then see what needs to happen with them. So I would break it down into steps. So just first, your only task is just to charge them. So pick out a couple and just work to find the charger and charge them, and then from there go another step to see what's on it, and what the best way would be to get the stuff off. But you could check out Miss Freddie on Instagram and Facebook. She has guides for all of that kind of stuff, so she would probably have better resources for that than me. Okay. Let's see. I just want to see if you have a question, and if you put a question mark in front of it, it's a little bit easier for me to see and not miss. Okay, sentimental cards by my bedside table. They've taken over my designated spot for books. Any thoughts would be appreciated. So, I would say, like, if you like having some sentimental cards, where in a place where you can see them or revisit them, I think that's awesome. But if it's gotten to be too many, then often we don't revisit them. They're a little bit stressful or overwhelming. So I would either let some of them go because you've gotten new ones since, or put them in your memory box. So hopefully everyone has a memory box. And that's just a place where you put all your super special memories. But it helps us to gauge, like, is this so special I'm going to put it in my memory box, or was it just for a season? I think there's special things that come into our life that we enjoy for a season, and then we let them go. So maybe some of the cards, you're like, it was really nice at the time I received it. I've since enjoyed it, but now I know if I try to manage too much inventory in that, it's not going to be special anymore, and I'm not going to revisit it. And it goes, I sometimes show like the meter of, wow, this is really cool and enjoyable and it makes me feel special. And then all of a sudden there gets to be too many, and then now it's a burden. And so isn't it amazing how one day something can be so special, but then we get too much of it or too many, and then now it's a burden? Like, that's always very fascinating to me. And so that's again where, like, all of this stuff, Christmas can be super enjoyable if I'm not trying to manage too much inventory. But when I'm trying to keep the extra candy and the extra goodie plates and placemats, it becomes too much and I don't enjoy it. And so I know myself now, and I know how much inventory I can manage, and it's not a whole lot. And so that's why I choose less inventory, but then higher enjoyment of the season. And that kind of goes for everything. Yes, Miss Freddie. Did I hear that correctly? Yes. Her name's Casey, but she goes by Miss Freddie on social media. We have a 9-year age gap in our kids. I feel guilty getting rid of kids of clothes when they could be handed down. Should I keep them or let them go? Um, you know, this I've noticed, our kids are very close in age, and we were just like very fortunate that we had 2 girls, then 2 boys, and it was super easy. But I was still holding on to too much stuff to pass down from one to the other, because even when they're right next to each other, they have their own tastes, they have their own styles, they're different sizes at different seasons. And so I keep very little now to pass down from one to the other. And so, especially with a 9-year age gap, I would keep the most special of special, highest quality of things. Like, I would keep one maybe small tote of stuff to pass down, and the rest I would let go, and I would reacquire it as you go. I don't know, at least in our area, good quality kids clothes are super easy to come by. Thrift stores, garage sales, hand-me-downs. we've never, ever, ever, ever had an issue acquiring good quality kids' clothes for inexpensive. And then you pair that with this knowledge that we have now that kids actually don't need a big wardrobe. I love now because we keep our kids' clothes like so pared down, like especially our boys, they wear out all of their clothes. And that feels really good to me because we keep a low inventory. It's less that we have to manage, they have to manage, and then they actually wear them out. Like it's awesome. And so kids just need very low inventory, so I wouldn't try to keep too many. Oh, that's cool. Last year I gave my brother all my extra candy for a New Year's Eve game night at his church. Well, that's a great idea. Yeah, I wish I mean if honestly if I knew an easy place to donate that stuff to, I totally would. So, okay. How many blankets, quilts, comforters do you have per size? Um we have one extra for each person, basically. So, like for our bed, we have one extra comforter. And then each of the kids have like an extra blanket, but it's not even a comforter, it's like a fuzzy blanket. And then we have a couple extra that we keep. I showed like a canvas size thing in the boys' closet upstairs. We maybe have 4 extra blankets in there. Like I always try to be aware, like, okay, we live in Minnesota. If all hell broke loose and we had no heat and couldn't go to my parents' house, which are a mile down the road, and like we needed to stay warm. Like I want to make sure we have enough blankets. And like I feel like we have enough for that. And then I would rather share any other extras we have with people that can actually use it, like at shelters. Our church does a collection of coats and hats and boots and blankets and stuff every year for a shelter. And so if we've accumulated extra, I would rather share it with others than keep lots of extra for ourselves. Hmm, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. How about taking a photo of sentimental items or cards? My screensaver rotates photos so I can enjoy old pictures. I love that. My only thing with that is that even photos that we take are inventory that we have to manage. And so, like, I know often moms will say, like, oh, take a picture of your kids' artwork or different things they create. And that's good. And it's still inventory that we have to manage. It's just in the form of digital things on your phone. And so I think that's great if there's some truly special things that you want to take photos of, but I try not to take too many of those things either because we still have to figure out a way to archive it and store it and all of that. Oh, yeah, good question. So, tidy totes versus take it there now. So, I think Cass talks a lot about tidy totes. I know others do too, but basically, it's just having like a laundry basket or a Rubbermaid tote or something, canvas fold, collapsible bin that you put stuff in that doesn't belong in this space. So, as you're working today, you could be putting stuff in, and then the idea is that you take it around the house to put everything back where it goes. If you are disciplined with that and that works well for you, I think that's a great idea. Some of us can do that and it works. Others of us, it never leaves the tote because you're like, I'm tired. I don't care to go put all this stuff away. And then it lives in there. And then we have a new bin of randomness, right? And randomness is the worst. So if you can do that and do it successfully, great idea. If not, I would really encourage you to try to take it there now. Many push back of like, oh, I have energy limitations. I get distracted when I go somewhere else. But if you have not tried it, then we would encourage you to. So that's something we talk a lot about in the Take Your House Back course. I haven't touched on that too much, but it is on special right now for $94. And the cool thing with the Take Your House Back course, so it's Cass and Dana and myself, is that we do full all day declutters 3 times a year, and they are awesome. So much work gets done. There's so much momentum and energy. It's just a really cool group. And there's something unique about the interaction of the 3 of us, like really sharing our best decluttering tips. And so, especially if you're like a weekend warrior, you have most time on the weekends. And if there's things, especially like sentimental things, we talk a lot about that in there that hang you up. Craft rooms, catch-all rooms, like big kind of overwhelming spaces, that course can be really helpful. So there is a link in the description here if you have any interest in that. There's also a link for the mentorship group. The mentorship group's more like daily encouragement and accountability, weekly challenges, monthly themes. We're doing some deep dives into areas. It's more spread out. So it's more like if you're really looking, like if you're in a season where you can be like interact daily or weekly, and just like really want some extra community and accountability that way, it's great. If you kind of need some more just like shots in the arm, like a couple dates on the calendar to look forward to work, then Take Your House Back course can be really good as well. How do you handle negativity from others surrounding minimalism? My mom and mother-in-law are highly critical and it's crippling. I'm really I'm really sorry to hear that. And I think in many ways I've had it pretty easy that my family has been actually relatively supportive. And they haven't always agreed with the things I've done, but um, they don't put me down for it. And so what I've kind of learned about people like this is nothing's going to make them happy. So no matter what I do, they'll probably find something to criticize, whether it's homeschooling or where we go to church or what we ate last week, right? And so you have to do what's best for you and your family. And I do believe that over time they will start to come around to it, but ultimately we can't not do it because of what they're going to say. And so I would keep surrounding yourself with supportive communities and people that are doing what you're doing so that you don't lose steam on it. And I think all of us would say, like, we're sorry, but it's too important to get your house simplified, not to keep moving forward with it. Don, could you remind people to just be kind? It hurts my heart when people are doing their best to declutter their home and can't do it perfectly. People shaming them hurts my heart. Yeah. And I think that's where understanding that, like, we're all going to do it a little bit differently. Like, some of us are going to perfectly donate everything, and linens are going to go to the pet shelter, and the craft supplies are going to go to the day center. And we're not going to use Goodwill because Goodwill is evil, and, all of this. And it's really coming from our own personal convictions, our own beliefs, how we were raised, what we've consumed, what we've learned over the years. It's really quite different for all of us. And so if someone's sincerely asking a question and we want to give our opinion, I think that's great. But if not, if they're just saying what they did or they're not looking for feedback on it, then I think the best thing we can do is just say, awesome, way to go, way to move that out. Maybe they're getting rid of sentimental stuff that you couldn't imagine getting rid of. And we just say, that's awesome. Like, you get to make that decision for you and your household. And that's so cool. So yeah, it's tough. Like this, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, we're like, it's just stuff, it's physical stuff, but yet there are so many things wrapped up into it, right? And so it's not easy, and we all like have a lot of emotions around it. All right. Oh, yeah, and they have criticism around where you're donating it to. Yeah, I wouldn't involve them in that process anymore. I'd be like, you don't get to know about this. I know it's hard too when sometimes family members are giving you things and they want you to take it and all that, and then if you even mention that you're not going to use it or you're going to donate it, then there's hard feelings about that too. So I do understand, and I am sorry about that because it's discouraging and it can really wreak havoc on our motivation, right? But ultimately, man, I just like I've talked about this a lot lately, but I have never been more grateful for a house to be so highly simplified. And I just feel like, especially with the ages of our kids right now, like I feel like I'm staying on top of things. I feel like a good mom. We're, get to play games at night, and we'll get back. This week's a little quieter. Like next week, they'll have taekwondo in the evenings again, and choir, and different things too. So it's not all just family game nights and whatnot. Like, I do understand the other demands too, but it is nice to feel like I'm not spending all of my time managing my house. I'm not beating myself up anymore for how my house was and not staying on top of it. I also feel like it's really easy to involve the kids in cooking and cleaning, and that makes me feel like a better mom too. That they're learning these things, that it's being modeled to them, that we don't have to keep so much stuff and manage all of it. And I think they're happier for it too. So that's where, sometimes like that is so important to me now, that if I have to throw some things in a garbage bag or a donation box just to move it out, I'm willing to do that now because the trade-off it's just so good. It's just not worth any of the stuff. So that's where my passion come from, and that's where I really want it for you too. And so I'm really grateful. I mean, just the fact that you showed up today and that you're willing to do this and keep working on it, even when it is hard and it's not easy. And sometimes maybe we do make a mistake from time to time, but that's okay, because anything worth doing, like, there is going to be a cost to it, but it's okay. It's okay if you've made a mistake. It's okay if you've spent money on something and now you're donating it, right? It's okay. Like, we're going to get through it, and we're learning from it, and we'll make better decisions moving forward. So It's all going to be okay. Awesome. Well, it has been so fun to get to hang out with you today. I do hope you got some good work done. Remember, 80% of it's easy decisions. And then if you need to just set aside the stuff, how do I lean? Set aside some stuff that just feels hard right now that you're not ready to tackle. Totally fine. That is totally fine. All right. Well, I love you. I hope you have a really good day. And I will see you tomorrow. We will talk about dining rooms, like specifically flat surface clutter. Ugh, and also about toys too. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. I love you. Have a good day.